a lot of people, a lot of shuyukh today, there's more khutbas on Jannah than Jahannam. And this is a very astonishing thing because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran mentions Jannah exactly the same amount of times as He mentioned Jahannam. So there shouldn't be this disparity in how much you're communicating about hellfire and heaven. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Without further ado, if you're watching this and you are from the FTD admin, we do not claim any ownership over this video. We are merely reacting to it, and we do not claim ownership rights. Thank you.
I think we still gotta put it in the description box, but that was nice.
And also, for all you people that comment sideways, we understand FTD Leroy is not a Muslim. We understand that this is not to be taken as Islamic consensus. But please, just enjoy the video. It's not that hard.
According to the religion of Islam, the existence of hell bears witness to God's complete sovereignty and His justice as well as His mercy. And it also is to be a warning to people from all parts of the world that they have a choice to make between righteousness and evil. And in this episode, I'm going to be exploring 10 surprising facts about hell in Islam. Starting off with fact number 10, hell is a place that is prepared for those who reject the truth after it becomes very clear to them, and also those who continue to do evil deeds. And in Islam, there's great pleasures to be felt in paradise, but on the other hand, in hell, there is a lot of terrible suffering. Also, did you know that hell in Islam is described in different names? There is Al-Nar, that is fire, and it's mentioned 125 times in the Quran. Jahannam is probably the most popular term used to refer to hell, and this name implies that there is a deep pit, and it's mentioned 75 times in the Quran. Also, hell goes by Jahim, and that means a blazing fire, and it's mentioned 26 times. Sa'ir is an ignited or kindled fire. The next name that hell goes by is Saqar, and it's given this name because of the intensity of the heat. Lazia is another name, and that refers to blazing flames. And then there is Hawiya, and that means a deep drop, like someone is being dropped from the top to the bottom of a place. And name number 9 is Hotoma, and that refers to debris and broken pieces of something. Also in Islam, hell is eternal for most people who enter into hell. And let me explain. Well, there is a minority of Muslim scholars that hold the view that hell will eventually come to an end. But the majority hold the view that no, hell is actually 100% eternal. There is no end to it. Now, there's several verses in the Quran that describe hell as eternal, and here's a passage found in the Quran, Surah 5 verses 37, and it says, "They will wish to get out of the fire, but never are they to emerge therefrom, and for them is an enduring punishment." I assume most of us, when we think about hell, we don't think about eating food. But according to the religion of Islam, the people in hell are served food, and the food of the people in hell is described as only increasing in torment, but it doesn't really provide any sort of nourishment, nor does it even relieve any of their hunger. Now, a passage from the Quran, Surah 88 verses 6 to 7 says the following: "For them there will be no food except from a poisonous thorny plant, which neither nourishes nor avails against hunger." According to Islamic thought, there is also a special tree in hell that is called Zakum, and this tree is actually rooted at the bottom of hell, and its branches are described as being really similar to the heads of different devils. So in Surah 44 verses 43 to 46 in the Quran, it says this: "Indeed, the tree of Zakum is food for the sinful. Like murky oil, it boils within the bellies, like the boiling of scalding water." Like, I've had hot water before, like I've burnt my lip on tea, but this is some next level burning. But either way, that kind of leads us into fact number 6. Normally water brings relief and puts out fires, but the water in hell is like completely different. So we kind of got an idea of what it's like, but another passage in the Quran, Surah 22 verses 19 to 22, it says the following: "These are two adversaries who have disputed lorded over their Lord. But those who disbelieved will have cut out for them garments of fire. Poured upon their heads will be scalding water, by which is melted that within their bellies and their skins. And for striking them are maces of iron. Every time they want to get out of hellfire from anguish, they will be returned to it, and it will be said, taste the punishment of the burning fire. So in this passage, they're not actually consuming fire, but the fire is actually poured on them. Similar to like taking a hot bath, but just imagine the heat turned up 1,000 times. Number
Thoughts. What's on your mind?
May Allah protect us from hell, man. Wallah, that's scary.
I mean, Daniel Hakikachu on an episode he did with Five Pillars, Blood Brothers, which is a podcast with Dilly Hussein. He wrote that, or he wrote, what am I saying? It's a podcast. He said that a lot of people, a lot of shuyukh today, there's more khutbas on Jannah than Jahannam. And this is a very astonishing thing because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran mentions Jannah exactly the same amount of times as he mentioned Jahannam. So there shouldn't be this disparity in how much you're communicating about hellfire and heaven, at least in my opinion. And I would even go as far as to say, like on how it says, that sometimes reminding someone of Jahannam might just be the thing that they need. I know we should, positively reinforce. I know we should, motivate people. We should pump them up about, all the good stuff about Islam, which is true. But there are consequences and they're severe. And for a lot of people, we don't know if it's going to be forever. So there's no point kind of shying away from it and being like, okay, let's not look at the elephant in the room.
Yeah, that's very true. And if you think about it, because people are just going for what makes them feel good, it's natural that this would slip into Islam. That, Jahannam is not a topic that people like. It's not a topic they feel comfortable listening to. But it's a topic they need to listen to. It's in the Quran. It's in Islam. It needs to be talked about. They need to know, because a part of the warning is warning of a grave punishment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what's worse than the punishment of the hellfire? That's the final destination. May Allah protect us from that.
But there's two things, right? People are going to respond to either of the two, either Jannah or Jahannam. We're going to have a stronger response to one or the other. Someone might hear about Jannah and they might be like, wow, mashallah, like this makes me want to do good. This makes me want to do as much as possible to be able to achieve this. And then to know that what they are being told about Jannah and then what they are interpreting, what they are, perceiving in their own minds, Jannah is way more than any of that, right? Allah's only revealing like this much to us when Jannah is like, we won't even know what the fruit is going to be like in Jannah. We won't even know what the sustenance is going to be, what our spouses, our partners, what everything is going to be like. We only know what Allah has revealed. And then even that's just something for us to have an idea of what it is. Not so we know exactly what it is, but we have an idea. And for some, this might resonate and they might say, you know what, I really want to reach this. And for them, that plays in their head. But for others, they need the interpretation of Jahannam. They need to know how bad it is in Jahannam. They need to have that because these are people who have nightmares. And in these nightmares, they might wake up and they might be afraid and they might be constantly having nightmares, or they might be living in a life where it's kind of like a nightmare in and of itself. And these people need to be reminded, like, look, if you don't change your ways, if you don't do good, like this is where you're going. And then just to know that this is just to give you an idea of what Jahannam is. It's not even exactly what hell is. It's just an idea. Just knowing that the hellfire is even worse than what Allah is describing.
That's true, bro. Because when Allah we're described fruit in Jannah, scholars unanimously agree that it's not fruits like we have here. They're very similar. Allah uses these terms just so we can understand, but there's nowhere like the fruit here. What makes you guys think that the opposite isn't true, like what Anghels saying? That Jahannam is far worse than what people are saying, if fruits are going to be far better than what we're told about.
For real. And look at this tree that's in Jahannam. That supposedly is like the fruit will, it won't satisfy your hunger. And it's just going to make you, like, your inside start twisting as if, like, it's torturing from the inside out. It's as if you're eating pus. And that's just an idea. That's not even, like, the exact thing. It's as if you were eating pus. Now imagine this, like there's certain foods in this world which I can't really equate to that. But what I will say is like there are certain foods where it's like you eat it and no matter how much you eat, it doesn't seem to fill you up. It doesn't seem to satisfy your hunger. You can just keep going, keep going, keep going. And it doesn't hit the spot, if you know what I mean. Because sometimes we eat something, it doesn't satisfy our hunger, but it hits the spot where it's like even if we're still hungry, we're just like, hey, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like there are certain foods in this world like that, but not imagine those foods, but imagine them, oh, just like ripping you apart from the inside. Imagine someone who's lactose intolerant. Imagine them drinking like a whole gallon of whole milk, bro. Ooh, do you understand the pain this individual is gonna feel? Yeah, Jahannam's worse.
Bro, why did I know you were gonna say that, bro? Because when he said like it's just gonna give you agony, I was just thinking like, bro, it's just gonna be whatever we're intolerant to or whatever allergies we have.
And
we
even
can't
then,
even
it's gonna be
get
like
out
a
of the jungle,
step
bro.
above.
All right, let's get back to it.
5. Hell or Jahannam is described as being located below heaven, having 7 gates, each for a specific group or at least a different portion or type of sinner. The Quran does mention that wrongdoers have degrees or ranks according to their evil deeds, but some scholars believe this refers to the 7 gates. One mention of the levels of hell is that hypocrites will be found in its very, very bottom level. Also, according to most Muslims, on the day of judgment, the people who dwell in hell, they're actually going to see the place that they're supposed to be face to face, and they're actually going to realize that they were in complete error and they're going to regret not choosing the right path. Also, in Islamic belief, Malik denotes an angel in hell who actually administrates the hellfire, and he's assisted by 19 mysterious guards, and those assistants are known as Zabaniya. In the Quran, Surah 40 verses 49 to 50, this is what it says: "And those in the fire will say to the keepers of hell, supplicate your Lord to lighten for us a day from the punishment. They will say, did there not come to you your messengers with clear proofs? They will say, yes. They'll reply, then supplicate yourselves. But the supplication of the disbelievers is not except in error." When it comes to hell in Islam, it is also believed that the unbelievers will actually conceal their regret when they see their final punishment. And they will actually have these yokes around their necks, and there's going to be a lot of weeping, crying for everybody. The Quran does mention this in Surah 11 verses 106 to 107, and it goes, "As for those who were destined to be wretched, they will be in the fire, for therein is violent exhaling and inhaling. They will be abiding therein as long as the heavens and the earth endure, except what your Lord should will. Indeed, your Lord is an effector of what he intends." And the final thing I want to share in this episode about hell in Islam is that other forms of punishment in hell actually exist, and it includes some of the inhabitants of hell getting lashed with very heavy clubs of iron. And it's believed that one of these clubs, if it was to be found on earth, all the combined strength of humans and jinn wouldn't actually even be able to lift it up. Also, if a mountain was to crash into it, the mountain would break into pieces. Ouch. So imagine getting hit with that. And just like that, now you know 10 surprising facts about the belief of hell.
Guys, make dua for Leroy to find Islam. He's been making videos about Islam longer than we've even had T3M, to be honest. It's time, man. Leroy, if you're watching, take that step, bro.
Yeah, subhanAllah. He mentioned something at the beginning of the video for number 10. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it, subhanAllah, got me thinking. Oh yeah, it was that hell is prepared for people who receive the full truth and reject it, right? Wallah, it's really scary, subhanAllah, that he's making videos on Islam. He understands it to the point where he's making videos on it, but has not become a Muslim. Yeah. He'll have no excuse.
I thought the same thing, bro. I thought the same thing.
MashaAllah. Bro, he'll have no excuse on the day of judgment, bro. And Wallah, I fear for him for that. May Allah guide him to Islam.
Amen, bro.
Amen.
So with what I said earlier, which one do y'all like? Is it Jannah for y'all that has the biggest impact, or is it Jahannam? And why?
Bro, honestly, I think it's 50-50 for me.
Oh yeah, mashallah.
Jannah.
Jannah?
Because without Jannah, Why? What's wrong with going to Jahannam?
I get that, but which one has the biggest?
Jannah.
So Jannah does it for
Of
you.
course, bro. No brainer. Because for me, the way I think about it is, if Jannah didn't exist, like if there was no Jannah, then what's the point, bro? What's wrong with Jahannam? The fact that Jannah exists and it's so good, it motivates me to not go to Jahannam. You
See,
know?
for me, the most impactful one is Jahannam. Like, if Jahannam was not described as vividly as it is in the Quran, like, I would probably still be doing the things that I was doing before becoming a Muslim. Because it's like, bro, I've experienced nightmares. And I've experienced nightmares like while awake. I'm talking about like in real life, like living nightmares. Like my life has been a living nightmare. And it's like just to know that that's nothing compared to what Jahannam is gonna be. And like to know the state that I was in at those times and just the way that I felt, bro, like how I wanted to basically, bro, like I wanted to end everything. I didn't want to be alive during those times. So just to think that like what I felt and what I was experiencing is nothing compared to what's gonna be in Jahannam if I continue down that path, bro. To me, that's the it speaks more volumes than Jannah. And Jannah, bro, I love Jannah. I want to go to Jannah. I think it's beautiful and I want to experience that. But that was the one that made the most impact, in my
May
opinion.
Allah protect us from that, Anha. I
I
mean,
mean, bro, I
and
mean,
Muhammad Ali, may Allah have mercy on him. He said it when he was alive that he would take a lighter. I remember Anha was telling us about it, and he would take a lighter and then he would put it on his hands every time he was close to wanting to sin, and he would say that if I can't even handle like touching the flame with my palms, how could I touch? Like how could I guess numb myself against hellfire? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
With that being said,
That's
Rami, do you think, bro?
اللهم آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
I think there's another thing too. It's the perseverance aspect too. Like we're more willing to stick through with things that we set out with an intention.
It's impossible to have empathy for others if you're not patient. So may Allah bless you for that.
first off, I'm gonna agree with the fact that the whole thing you said about friends, where it's like if they're affecting you more than you're affecting them, then you should probably get some new friends.
You want to be investing in stocks, shares, bonds. You want to be investing in crypto because there's this thing called inflation, which means every year that passes by, the value of a dollar goes lower and lower and lower. And the reason being is because they're printing more money, right? That's why money is haram. At least the paper money is haram.
Provided that you're actually there and you're being a good father and the mother's being a good mother, best conditions.
And behind the mic, Hamza, Andreas, Zortsis, we will go in with our final three with brother Anghel, inshallah.
Inshallah, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
It's not just a responsibility on you, it's responsibility on all the children, especially your father.
In our private area is very elastic, and yeah, if you go too fast, the skin will literally crease up into like the edge of like the little clipper things, and you will literally clip your skin. You don't want to be on YouTube or the internet or anything that amount of time, but it's the fact is that's what we're doing.